And the last part of our exercise is about debugging and logging. So before, up till now, you were using system out print line statements to track what happens at different points of time in your program. This was, so to say, the way to see what is happening inside at different points. This is not elegant way how to code, since just imagine that your program will grow. And the first, what you have to do when you're programming, you're putting those print line statements everywhere where you want to trace the state of the program. But then afterwards, when you want to finalize your program, you have to delete all those print line statements. So it means that first you have a lot of print line statements that may be very difficult to trace, to track. And next, your code can become very messy. So in this case, you can use the debugging tool, and this is some kind of way how to track the execution of your program step by step. What you can do, with the help of debugging tool, you can see what is happening inside of your program at different stages, at different steps, and you are the one who is defining at which steps you want to trace the state of your program. So to control your debugging process, it's pretty simple. You set breakpoints on particular lines of codes that you want to pause your program on. And when the program execution hits those breakpoints, the execution will be paused, and you can check the state of the variables at this moment. And then after you reviewed the state, you can continue execution of the program till the next breakpoint. So let us come to practice. So I will just open the class that is called debugging, and you will find this class in the Moodle. So this debugging class, you will see here some code that you have already seen on your lecture slides. So in this code, you see, I will just go through it quickly to remind you. We have variable age that is now 30, double retirement fund that equals to 10,000 euros, for example, years in retirement, string name, and then we have a for loop that uses the method recalculate. The method recalculate is defined here. It takes two double variables, fund amount and rate, and calculates the fund amount. Afterwards, actually it's all. It is using these two variables, and then we are calculating our monthly pension according to this formula and printing the sum to the console. So here we have a logical error, and you have seen this error in your lecture slides. So in these cases, especially when we have logical errors, debugging tool helps us to track where this error comes from. So to use the debugging tool, what you have to do, first you have to place a breakpoint on the line of code. So to place a breakpoint, you have to select the line that you want to place it on, and we want So we think that the error may be in this method. And we are hitting now the number of the line with right click, and we see here toggle breakpoint. When you press it, you will see here a dot on the line. And the same we will do on our method line. So we are hitting this with our right click, and we are putting here the dot. Now you see here 2 dots. These are 2 breakpoints. Then next, what we do, we have to open the debug perspective. There are multiple options how to do this. The first option, you're clicking our class here on the left, Project Explorer panel, and you see here debug as, and you are just hitting here. The next option, you're clicking here on run, and you're looking for our debug keyword. The next option, you see here debug, our spider, and you are selecting the code that you want to debug here. So I will just use the first option. And now you see the following windows. So the first window that appeared here is the debugging perspective. Your Project Explorer is still here. You can hit it, you can open it. We will switch now to debug. Sometimes your right panels will be opened automatically. In my case, it is now not the case, so I will open them by myself. Show view, and now you see some additional perspectives. What we need now, we need variables, and well, actually it's now enough for us. So in this right window, this is very important for you, because here you will be able to track your variables that are here and the values that the variables will have at some specific point of time. So now let us start our debugging. So now we are hitting here with our spider debugging. And what you see now? You see now that the program has paused on this line number 12. So the state of the program now is everything up to this line was executed. And you see now here the values that the variables have. So integer 830 is here. Double retirement fund 10,000 is here. Years in retirement 20 is also here. And the name is assigned to the value David Johnson is also here. I will enlarge it a bit. Okay, so next you are controlling execution. So the program is now paused on this first breakpoint, on this method. And in order to control execution, this is our next step, control execution. You can use the following commands. So first, what you would like to have, maybe this is step enter. You can use also shortcut F5 for this. And this is the command that will execute the current line and move to next line. Execute the current line and move to the next line. Next is step over with shortcut F5. And you want to execute with this shortcut, you would execute the method without showing each step. Execute the method without showing each step. Next step, return, and this is with shortcut F6. It helps you to finish executing current method. Finish executing current method. When would you like to use this? For example, if you have a loop and you, like in our case, and this loop should go through like 20 iterations, and you have checked the first 3 or 5 of them, and you know what is happening next, so you don't want to click through all those 20 iterations. You are just clicking F6 or step return button, and then the method is executed to the end without showing you the results that are in between. And the last one that you would like to use is resume with F8. And this will execute everything until the next breakpoint. Until the next breakpoint or the end of the program. If you don't have any breakpoints more. Okay, so now let us do it. So we will use now step enter, F5. So you can press F5, or you can have here, you see, step enter, step over, F6, then you have F7, step return. You cannot do it now for this moment, and resume. So you can hit it here or hit it here, as you wish. I will just hit F5. So here I'm hitting now at 5, and what we do, we are looking on this screen, on this window, variables, and we want to track how our values of our variables are changing. So what would we assume? We would assume that our retirement fund with time, with going through this loop, will increment. So we'll add all those values that are calculated on each step of the loop. So first, here we are initializing our for loop with the value of the age, that is now 30. If this age is less than 65, then for the next run of the for loop, it will be incremented and will be 31. And we are using the method recalculate that is defined here with fund amount, rate, and this is the rate. And fund amount is equals to this 10,000 euros. So what we would expect? We would expect that this retirement fund increments with each run of the loop, with each loop iteration. So let us hit F5. We're hitting F5. We see that E is now equals to 1. Then you see now the values that are used for this method, since when this method recalculate is called here, you have here only 2 parameters, but the method itself is written here. That's why the program execution jumps now to this part of the code, and this formula now will be calculated. We are hitting again, and you see the changing of variables that is now even highlighted in yellow. So now the fund amount is 11,000. We are hitting F5 again, and this is already the second loop iteration. What we would expect now? We would expect now the retirement fund to stay at 11,000. However, it is now already again 10,000. We're executing. We see that E is incremented 31, F5 11, and again I'm now hitting F5, and you see how the values are changing. However, you see also that the problem is here in retirement fund. So what you would have to do, actually we have to assign the value to retirement fund. Now you receive the error, since type is here is type mismatch, cannot convert from void to double. It means that the method here should be double, and then this method should here have here return keyword. So now when we just hit run button, we see that the retirement fund has already the values that we would expect. So this is how you could use your debugging tool. So important is to remember first what you do. You are setting breakpoints by clicking the line that you want to halt the execution of your program on. You're selecting here toggle breakpoints on all lines where you want to make a pause, and then you're switching to debug perspective, and you're using this. Actually, you're using all. Here's just a second, F6 and F7. Yeah, this is the right way. You are just using those commands to control the execution of your program. So debugging is the first option how you can track the execution of your code. Another option is to use logging. And this is an alternative approach actually to the debugging. In the logging case, you are creating log messages about execution of the program. So this also helps you to track what is happening during execution of your program. However, it has an advantage because you can use logging also during the program is running. It means when the program is already deployed on the user side, you can use logging to log the messages and then check them if you want to see what is happening, or if you want to track whether something is going wrong. For debugging tool, you are using debugging tool when you are developing the program. So debugging tool is for developing purposes, and logging is for developing and for later use of the program.